welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a minute, but I am back, and today I'm gonna be talking to you about hair type. What is hair type? What comes to mind when you hear hair type? Take a moment, think about it. Do you come up blank? Do you come up confused? Or do you come up with some form of letter number system? Do you come up with curly, kinky, coily? What is it that you come up with? Now, some persons are well informed, some persons are so lost when it comes to hair type, and I'm going to be discussing that today. Now, there was a system that was created by Andre Walker. He's Oprah's hairstylist. He created a system where you could determine your hair type based on your patterns. There were 3 systems: 2, 3, and 4. 2 would be if your wavy pattern, 3 would be curly, and 4s would be kinky or coily. And then those are further subdivided into subcategories depending on the tightness of your curls or your wave or your kinks. Now, that does help, but you have as many hair type as you have persons in this world, and your hair is specific to you. So what do I do to help determine my hair type? It can't just be my wave pattern, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. Now, it's not just about wave pattern. Like I said earlier, it has to do with texture, it has to do with density, it has to do with porosity and your elasticity, and those are stuff that really help to learn about your hair, and in turn helps you to know what to do and how to treat your hair so you can get it to its best. Now, first we're going to be talking about texture. Now, most persons, when you say texture, the word that comes up is either thick or thin, and that's it. Now, texture is really more than that. It is the thickness or the diameter of one individual strand. That is further divided into 3, meaning coarse, medium, or fine. Imagine a thread. The width of a thread would maybe be an average, meaning medium texture. And if it's larger than a thread, it would more than likely be a coarse texture, and if it is finer than a thread, it would be a fine texture. And don't misinterpret the fact that if I have fine texture, it means my hair is not healthy or my hair is falling out. Some persons just really have fine texture, and that's just their hair. It's their genetic, it's how they were made, and it's really something that you can't change in terms of how you were born. So like I said before, texture is the thickness of the diameter of one individual strand. It's further broken down into coarse, medium, and fine. Coarse being large strand, medium being not so large, not so fine, and fine would be a very small diameter. The next one would be porosity. Porosity is the rate at which your hair will absorb or retain moisture. That is also subdivided into low, medium, and high porosity. Right? Low porosity meaning it is resistant to water or moisture. So if you dunk on a lot of moisture to it, it's not going to readily absorb that water, that moisture in as quickly as you might think it would for somebody else that has high porosity. Low porosity, it is resistant to water. However, when it does absorb that moisture, it really holds on to it. Medium porosity, on the other hand, it's like a baseline. It's like what we would say normal. You know, you're at that line and you have low and you have high. So medium would be that borderline, that normal. And that is if your hair holds on, absorb the water as much as it holds on to it. And high porosity, on the other point of the spectrum, is if your hair loves water. It's water loving, and it grabs onto it and it holds onto it and it drinks it up, and it just loves it. It does releases that moisture as much as it absorbs it. So like I'm saying, everybody's different. So when you listen to persons, or when you hear they say yes, your hair needs moisture and you have to moisturize. I had this friend, and we used to watch videos about hair back in the days, and they're saying yes, spray your hair with water and moisturize and all of that. And we were like, okay, cool. And she started doing it, and she was like spraying on, you know, moderate amount of water, and she's like, Mo, my hair does not feel as healthy as it used to be. It started becoming, you know, feeling weak and just, you know, not as healthy as it was before. When we looked at it, her hair doesn't want that much water. She just gave it a small amount, and that was it for her. So everybody is different. She might have been what we call a low porosity, so her hair does not readily absorb water. It's just the same if you're combing your hair and you dunk on a lot of products and it just stays there and sits there and it builds up and it flakes and it just sits on the hair because the hair is not readily absorbing it. While on the other hand, another person might put on a lot of product, and in no time, when it dries down, it's just the hair is just rich and moisturized and all of that. So you have to know your hair, and porosity plays a big part. But how do I know what my porosity level is? There are two ways to test that. One we call the float test. What you do, you get a small amount of water in a container, cup, glass, whatever it is, maybe something that you can see through preferably. You're gonna take out some strands of your hair, you place it in the water, give it about 2 minutes or so. If it sinks to the bottom, that means your hair is high porosity, so that it's water loving, it loves the water and it's just enjoying and bathing in the moisture. If it floats to the top, that means it's low porosity and it is resistant to the water. If it wiggles in the middle thereabout, you're the normal borderline, that's the average, right? So that's one way to help determine. Another way is to just grab a piece of your hair, like just a portion of your hair, a small portion like this, and then you're going to hold the tip of it and then use one finger and push towards the scalp, just like that. If when you're doing that your hair is extremely smooth, meaning you're not feeling any tangles, any knots, any bumps, your hair is low porosity, meaning you're doing all that test I did just now and it's just smooth, that means it's low porosity. If you feel that some small amount of ridge or bumps, you're somewhere in the middle of medium porosity. If you feel a whole lot of ridges, you're of high porosity. You're water loving, your hair loves the moisture, so you can feed it with it. So those are two ways to help determine the porosity of your hair, and that will also help in determining how you style your hair, the type of products you use, and how much your hair really needs it. It's just like if you take something in your body's just going to use up what it needs and you're going to pass the rest out. So you just give it the amount that it needs, and that will benefit it. Alright, so the next one is wave pattern, and that is the one that most persons talk about when you type in hair type on the internet. You'll see what the chart that they give you is really about wave pattern. Of course, like I was saying before, you have the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s. Obviously the one might have been a straight hair, so I guess they started at 2.
The 2s would be your wavy. So you have 2A, not bone straight, has a little bit of wave in it. And you have your 2B, which is a little bit more wavy than the 2A, but not as wavy. Then you have 2C going on to curly. Then you have the same system, 3A, 3B, 3C, which is for your curly hairs. And you have your kinky, coily, which is your 4A, 4B, 4C. It all depends on the tightness of your wave. or your curl pattern. It's in your DNA. You can change it unless you're going to be adding heat or some form of chemical, but other than that,
really boils down mostly to your DNA. That is something you cannot change unless you're going to change it chemically or thermally. You're born with it, and it's just your pattern. It's something you can't change. If you're kinky, you can't be a straight unless you add chemical or unless you add heat. Some person might have, like I was mentioning earlier, different textures, different wave pattern in different hair. Some persons have 4 patterns depending on, like, the front of their hair is one type, the back and the middle is another type. So that's really just a wave pattern. That's all it is about. Now, the next thing that we're going to be talking about is density. Density measures the number of hair per square inch in your scalp. Meaning, in your scalp, if you measure out a square inch, you will get a certain amount, but it will not be the same amount for everyone. So that also is broken down into 3 categories, meaning low, medium, and large. And if you get a square root of your hair, if I would assume for a person that has a texture that is coarse, they would have a larger density. For a person that has medium texture, they would have a medium amount of hair per square root, and a person that has fine texture might more than likely have low density. And density, all it is explaining is the amount of hair per square root. That also you cannot change. It's just how God made you, and you can change your scalp. So I'm pretty sure you won't be able to change the density of your hair no matter what you take, no matter what you eat. It's just your hair. Your DNA says so, and you can't change that. That's not something you can change or fix. That you can't change. Density is really based on your genetic. You might try to take vitamins and supplements and stuff, but really that's just it might help, and it really does help some person, but it's really just how it appears. As soon as you stop taking it, it's gonna go back to its original state. You can take, when you take those supplements, they are just loaded with a lot of one set ingredients, and again your body just gonna take it in, takes what it wants, and you're gonna pass the rest out in your waste. So once you stop taking it, it's gonna go back, unless you lost your hair has a lot of damage, or you had a sickness where you had a lot of shedding or something like that, and you need to restore your hair. In that case, you definitely will get some amount of benefit from supplements. But if your hair is in its healthy state, and you are a fine texture and a fine density, taking supplements will not get your hair to a coarse texture if all your life you've never been a coarse texture or a coarse density. All right. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is elasticity, ability for your hair to stretch when it's wet and return to its normal shape when it's dry. This is a problem that a lot of persons have. They try to do a wash and go, or they try to do a curly style, but the curls are just so flopping. They're not popping, they're not curling, it's not maintaining the curl pattern. It means that your elasticity has been lost, and it's just not being as defined as you want it to. It really indicates your hair strength, right? Even if you do a curl out and you stretch your hair and it goes straight, when you let it go, it's supposed to bounce back to its original curl pattern. You can regain the strength from elasticity treatment. What the elasticity treatment does, it completes the lipid barrier in the hair strand, allowing it to curl as it is supposed to, right? So it completes it, so it gives you that curl pattern that it's supposed to. But when you add the chemical, when you add the heat, when your hair is just completely damaged, it loses that pattern, and the lipid structure of the hair strand is damaged. So you want to regain that pattern again, so that you can get back that bouncy, curly, or kinky kinky pattern. There are a lot of elasticity treatment on the market. You can do homemade, you can do store bought, or you can do steam treatment as well. Steam treatment is very good for elasticity. It helps to push that moisture. It opens up the hair follicles, it push that moisture into the hair strand, and it gives you that pop. So over a time, you're gonna see your hair starting to pop back, and the moisture is there. So it's not just about applying moisturizer to your hair. The steam opens up the follicle, opens up the strands, and it adds that rich moisture inside internally to the strand, and it helps to create that bounce, that nice little bounce that you get when you know, stretch your hair and you get that back. So if you're interested in seeing how you can get different, you can do different elasticity treatment, you have protein treatment, you have different way, but the thing about it is you cannot abuse it. It depends on your hair type, how damaged your hair is. If you overdo it, you will go to another end of the spectrum, and that's another totally different thing. It all boils down to you. It's specific to you, the type of treatment you need, how often you need to do it. When you start doing it, you can't do it the same as you were doing it before, because your hair is going to start repairing itself. So you're going to want to do it lesser than you were doing it before. It all boils down to you. There's no one person with the same problem or with the same hair type. Everybody's different. Even don't watch someone else and say, but she has this or whatever. Your hair is specific to you. Give it time. Be patient with it, and do what you know is best for your hair. If you're completely out of it and you don't know what to do, find someone that you can trust. Find someone that knows about these kind of things, a hairstylist that it can specialize in your type of hair, and go for a consultation. Ask questions, do your research. Don't watch someone else and say, why am I whatever and she's not. No. Be patient with your hair. Do what needs to be done based on your texture, based on your curl pattern, based on your porosity, based on your density. It's totally different. Everybody has different strokes. Whatever hair type you are, be proud of it. These points that I've given will help to determine the type of products that you need, the type of treatment you need, what products to use, how to do it, how to comb your hair, and that will help to give you a healthier hair. Be proud of it. Whether you're a kinky pattern, wavy pattern, coarse texture, fine texture, low porosity, whatever it is, be proud of it, love it, and give it the best, and you will feel so enriched to just do so much things with your hair. Just love it. Give it all the love that you deserve, and find ways and be creative, and just appreciate it. It's what God gave you. It's who you are. There is no one else out there like you. Just love it. Give it some loving. Just love it up and nice it up, and give it some nice styles and all of that good jazz, and you'll feel good. You'll feel good within yourself that you tried, and you'll feel good knowing that you are the best you can be. And don't be afraid. Go out there, try different styles, and you can research based on your hair type. Know that you are able to better be able to know what type you are. You can try things, know what your hair likes, know what your hair doesn't like, know what is best for you, and it will eventually work out. And it seems overwhelming at first, but after a time you'll get there, and you'll know your hair, and your hair will know you. So you'll better be able to treat it and care for it and give it everything that it deserves. Alright, don't be afraid. Just go out on a limb. Just go out and try it. Alright, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please leave your thoughts and your comments. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments section, and share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe down below. Alright, until next time, I'm your girl Momo. Thanks for watching this video.